Better love. We just got finished with the drumming, feeling that heartbeat. And now we have our guests. We have Eric in the house, and we have Hood Mystic, and we have Kaya French. Greetings, Eric. How are you doing?
Shit, if I was doing like you, babe, I'd be. I can go somewhere and make me an investment. Yeah, you got it lit. I love it. Thank you for lighting up the table. You know, allowing us to hold space. I'm super grateful, Beverly. I have a super grateful feeling in my heart right now today, and man, I'm so pleased about it. You know, I'm glad to be here sharing with the table today. Y'all lit the show up Friday night as usual, and you know, we just want to continue that vibe. You know. So
yes. Well, we have, like I said, we have we raising the frequency. That's what it's about. It's about raising that frequency and raising the vibration.
Well, hey Beverly, we got all the tools, right? We got the crystals, we got the dominoes, we got the turntable, we got the water table. Yeah, you know, we got the gambling table, everything. Got it all. Let's go. Let's turn it up. I made that drumming with fire, Bev. I had to go over here and get my calisthenics in right before, you know. I had to fine tune my stuff. Yeah, that was fire. And Bev, while we walking on this journey through the forest and the woods and nature, will you please pull up some of that water vibe that you usually play, that river sound. And later on,
ocean, I think it's the ocean. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. I will put that in.
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
other than that,
we have our guest that's here. Let's pull up. Okay. We got Hood Mystic, and we have Kaya French. Greetings, y'all. Thanks for joining the Mound Table.
Peace.
Happy to be at the mound table with the gods and the goddesses. Yes.
Igualmente.
Yes. Yeah. How y'all feeling today? What's the energy like?
Great.
Yes, good to hear.
Good. Frequency is real good. And how are you doing, Kaya?
Love and blessings. Peace, love, and blessings to the goddesses and gods and kings and queens and prince and princess of this universe within you. How's everybody doing today?
Good time to be alive.
What's going on? How you feeling?
Going on. You know, I'm feeling great because, you know, I am a numerologist, so we are in the year of 2023, and today, when the 7 year, 7 month, and the 16 is a 7, so that's 777. The 7, 16, the 25, the 34, the 43, the 52, the 61, the 70, the 79, the 88, 97, the 106, like 106 in Park, you know. So these are all frequency of the 7. And in fact, you said 7 about the water because also 7 is a water energy as well, too. And it has the moon number. The new moon is in Cancer. That's the way it's coming strong, right? It's really feeling it this time. So today, the people who are born on the 7th, the 16th, the 25th of the month should have felt a little different today. You know, maybe want to be around water in between after 6 o'clock last night to about even right now, even during the full moon, the new moon come up as well too, that you should feel like some kind of vibrant energy, like a tug or a pull, like how the water be moving the tidal of the waves. Yeah, you should feel that energy. And then in a minor way, because we are in, so what month we in right now? So we're in the 7th, 5 months. So today, those who are born on the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, and the 30th, and opposition to the 3 is a 5, but opposition does not mean it is against you. Sometimes it works with you and for you. It's nothing can be negative or positive. Just learning how to work. And things like a seesaw, right? One on the end, the other end, but what's in the middle of this? So you should also be feeling some kind of energy, and there should be like some kind of mysterious, spiritual kind of energy around it. Like maybe you saw something, and maybe you thought that was over there, or maybe you saw like a flash of your grandmother, your grandmama, or somebody, you know, some kind of spirit being was there. So you're going to feel this kind of energy around you today. Nature is showing this color.
And Hood Mystic, what you got to add to the table?
Well, I appreciate Kaya for that wonderful breakdown. All I would really say is that no matter what astrology system you're working with, the new moon is in Cancer. Now, for me, everything she said, I agree with 100% because I'm in the midst of a mysterious spiritual energy. And for me, that Cancer energy is that big mama, spiritual mama, matriarchal, ancestral lineage saying, hey, how you doing? I'm in your life still, just because you're not having Sunday dinners every Sunday no more, just because you ain't worried about me picking a switch up off the tree and whooping your ass, you know what I'm saying? I'm still with you to make sure that you become the best version of yourself. We might have not really liked our grandma growing up, but when we got adults, we look back and we would not be the person we are if we didn't have our grandma stern, strong energy, love and comfort energy. When our mama couldn't show up for us, our grandmama was there generally to be that person that we need. So when we look at this from a spiritual perspective, we might feel lost in the sauce. We don't got it all put together, but spiritually, when we rely and leverage our big mama, right, you know the people who had the grandmama with some money, right? You be like, dang, why they getting all the new stuff? It'd be like my grandma be having me, it'd be like, dang, our mama's struggling, But it's like that. Our grandmas are rich. Our grandmas are plentiful, abundant. And if we don't tap into this mother energy, I don't know what's really wrong with you. It's abundant. It's available. And like Kaya said, it's mysterious. So what that means, if you got your limiting beliefs, put them over to the side somewhere. Let them have daytime in the sun. Let them dry out. Because right now we're in a magical time. And I'm in Florida right now talking to y'all in the midst of the magic. So I just wanted to share that. Go ahead.
Okay.
Florida itself is a mythical state because in cardiology it is a 7 of spades. So you are there with the ancestor. That's the ancestor card, which is also my card as well too. And I want to add what she was saying about the mother's bank. Now let's look at, you can assist me with this, Hood Mystic. Let's look at the configuration of where is the sun position in the USA chart. It is in the 8th house. What is the 8th house? That is your taxes, your inheritance. When we say inheritance, it can be inheritance through DNA. Does not always have to be money because what you have a gift and a skill and a trade, expertise, whatever it is, you can use that gift to move mountains, make things work for you. So talking about the 8th house, that's your great and money baby. Trying to that's the second house as well too. It's the correlates to the second house. That's Taurus. Okay, Uranus is Taurus.
Let me hop in real quick. Let me just say this. The 8th house is Scorpio. The Scorpio is the wound. I don't know. I came through this portal through a wound. I don't know about y'all, but, you right on.
It's death and rebirth, right? And think about it.
Ashe.
Why do I ask y'all to pay y'all taxes? Really shouldn't even be paying taxes. That's a voluntary thing. We really got things messed up in the USA because why is it that the USA has Chiron and Aries at 20 degrees? So what I have done in my research is that I have noticed that when Chiron and Aries, when the North Node or the South Node axle is in Capricorn or Cancer, why is there always a disease or phantom or an academic, a pandemic, and all these things, right? What's the agenda here? Well, Aries is new beginning, so new things start. You want to start new things, put some fear in you. So why is Chiron in the 4th house? The 4th house is your ancestral, your roots. Hold on, it's your paperwork, okay? So let's get the paperwork right. We got Saturn and Pisces. Saturn and Pisces ain't playing. This is the last go-around before Saturn into Aries, right? Not only that, you got Neptune and Pisces. So all your switcheroos, y'all switching it up all right. So y'all, when it comes into Aries, you can be like, oh my God, why did I do that? Yeah, you figuring out that you can't undo that. You can't be a woman.
Yeah, you definitely should. You know, my thing lately has been purifying the mind. So when you reference the 4th house, that's Cancer. So Chiron being in the 4th house, you got to heal that part of you that has made the mistakes of not being spiritual, right? And when we do that, once we realize that we are these spiritual beings, that's a level of magic because your power is inherent within you. I think we truly believe we need to make the money. We need to fall in love. We got to have the right house. We got to have the right car to tap into our ancestral magic. And that right there is what has, you know, caught us all for a loop. We in this material world. So when I look at it, 8th house, 4th house relationships, it's very chaotic. It's very emotional. But at the end of the day, you can't separate from them. You got to figure it out. You know, if that's your family, if that's in your DNA, if that's in your bloodline, they call them generational curses or whatever. But it's like we got things, when we do this spiritual work, we don't just help ourselves. We help our ancestors too, right? We help the whole family tree. So a lot of it is like coming into communion, coming into oneness. And the problem with, if we would ever say, what's our problem in this country? We too selfish. We only think about ourselves, which don't have nothing to do with the 8th house, right? Don't have nothing to do with the 8th house being by yourself. It's literally communion. It's literally bringing new life into this world, which we also have an opportunity with this new moon. What do you want to happen? What do you see for yourself? And I know that's a hard thing because you might have been 2 years ago wished to be with that man and it ain't work out, or wished to have a house and it didn't work out. So your faith is a little broken right now, but this is where you got to kind of come back into this 4th house new moon energy, deal with your DNA, deal with your roots. That's your power, your ancestors, millions of ancestors coming online to help you, because when they help you, you helping them. It works together.
Yeah, and when you look in the mirror, for those who really been doing the work, when you look in the mirror, you're not just looking at yourself in the mirror. I'm quite sure you may feel a different kind of way, but when you look in that mirror, it says a whole different story. Like my ancestors here, they ready to roll, they ready to work with me, to fight with me. But you got to stand in that position. You got to be in that soldier position because they gonna work with you, but you got to do the work. You got to do the heaven work, and sometimes you have got to let things go. And as he was saying with the curses, you can tell by the curses because look in your family gene line. All you got to do is look at your family. Look from your mama and your daddy relationship, their mama and their dad, 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 their cousin, uncles, and you're going to find the pattern. That's up to you to put a heart to it, find out what's going on, so you can change the dynamics of it. So you can be the generation that change the pattern of that. It's like a lock. You switch it left and right until you open the lock button, right?
It's 100% like that. And once again, it's like they passed you on. It's not like they passed it on to you because it's not like they knew what they was doing, right? They just like us, living in a world, working a 9 to 5. They transition, and, you know, we might think that they did something to us, but we all in this thing together. The thing about us in this time is that we have the full consciousness, past, present, and future. This is why we the indigo children. This is why we the rainbow children. Our consciousness, right? Think about our consciousness as a people, right? Our consciousness has been awakened when that probably hasn't even happened collectively, right? We've all been going to work every day or concerned with what's happening in the world. For a long time, our people have never collectively said words like spirit and ancestors and 8th house and 4th house. We've never talked about stuff like this. We are the chosen ones, and I don't use that word lightly, but this new moon is really the cardinal. When you talk about a cardinal or a major sign, is a turning point of our understanding. And I feel like it's an understanding of us and our connection to others as far as our bloodline. Like, we have a strong and powerful bloodline. And I don't care if you broke. I don't care if you don't got what you think you got. Your parents ain't leave you nothing. It's deeper than that. It's so much deeper than that. And I hope we can tap into that right now and unlock those locks like Kaya was talking about.
And what her mystic saying, like, we broke. Really? Are we broke or are they broke? Because the sun is in what house? So you want to borrow money, lend money, all that borrowing, lending, and they come from the 8th house energy. So who you borrowing it from? That's why they had the Banking Act 1935. Think about it. They were broke. They came up with Social Security cards, Social Security stuff. Half people didn't want to do it, and some did. But what is the Social Security number linked to? I just happened to find that out looking at the money. I was staring at the money one day. I said, let me investigate this money and see where it goes. Because the 7 year, we're going down the rabbit holes, the beavers, burrows, the spider webs, the centipede. We just diving in right now. And so you find a solution, to find an answer, because there's more and more and more to the story, just like the last Menzie. It was eons years later when some kind of configuration came through to send that last pure soul of the Menzie back to the scientists. So we're going deep. So also too, I want to say, some of the years that we can look at the 7 year, that you can reflect back on your life and see what happened, because these years, it's a pattern, it's a sequence, right? It's a cycle. So these years may ring an alarm to you or trigger you some kind of way, because you've done some things in these years that were either a milestone, a graduation, something that came about that's very significant in your life. So I'm just going to go back from 2014, 2005, 1996, 1987, 1978, 1969, 1960, 1951, 1942. Oh, wait a minute, 1933. Is that when I said the Banking Act? 1924. So look at all these energies that's coming through. What happened between that time frame? And then I think we also had, was it 1995 when there was this eclipse right here is going on? Like maybe that happened around that particular time. So what happened in 1995? I remember that song I Got 5 on it came out.
And 5 is dealing with changes. Big changes.
Most definitely, and that's where we at right now. We're in a change.
Major change.
Actually, we in a 5 month right now as we speak, and things are going to. Like, this is the fastest probably month, but once it gets to August, it is going to slow down. It's like a man with his candy paint car with wheels, and you want to make sure you see all the interior and stuff. But he go around down the street real slow, like a dream cruise. And we have here, the dream cruise go real dreamy, kind of slow, right? So things are going to slow down. It's going to take a minute. So you want to just put up some money. So it may seem like things are hard, but it's just the transformation of the process, like a woman having a baby. She got to go through all these symptoms. When she gets those contractions and breaks and hits, it ain't always 20 minutes apart. It may be an hour apart, 2 hours apart. And start breaking loose.
It makes me think about value, because I've always called the 8th house the bank. I've always called Scorpio the bank. But you kind of making it make more sense to me. But then you look at the opposite of Scorpio, which is Taurus, which is known for values or known for personal possessions. When you put those energies together, it is like we might feel like our financial situation isn't the best, but it completely relates to how much we value our financial situation. So if we can reflect during the waning moon, we could see the ways in which we have been not operating in the rules of a bank, meaning that it could be relationship-wise, we just let anybody into our bank, or financially, we just spending all types of money, and a bank wouldn't do that. So if we have rules and parameters, we operate in like a bank would. When we just so free with our energy, so free with our finances, our resources, and ain't nothing coming back to us, we out of alignment. So for me, it's been kind of looking at those ways in which I've been making the mistakes and correcting those mistakes seriously, because, you know, the reality of this whole situation is that these ancestors is really watching us now. We not operating in a level where the spiritual world is disconnected from us. The veil is very thin, and it's an opportunity to really have some consciousness, some awareness of what's happening. And the most important thing that I've been trying to convey to people this weekend is, what do your future look like? Can you really begin to envision and see your future and start making the action steps towards it? Because at this point, we done with hoping that spirit do everything for us. We got to actually be in lockstep with our intention. So where are you going? What are you doing?
And speaking of banks, a lot of people are discovering that we haven't been operating under what we really are. We are individual bankers. The whole system is set up as a banking system. Once you understand how the banking system works and your position as a banker, we are all bankers. And then you kind of get to understand. You start to see, okay, this is how this works. This is how and things start to come together. But we are definitely bankers.
You hit something there, Beverly, because when I was looking at how, you know, like him was saying, the banker. So we live in the United States of. I know y'all learned that watching the Conjunct and Junction, Hooked on Finance. Of is a proposition of America, and America is of that. I mean, that is of the United States of America. So so looking at that lets me know this is a corporation, right? It's a corporation. They want a part of your ratio, mainly your body parts. That's why the sun is in the 8th house, because where do you go when you die? Is that either ground or you get burnt? Whatever how you chose to leave this world. But not only that, it's about investing, and what else it also indicates? Real estate, land, right? Anything that is of value that comes from the land. That is your ancestor. And when I got into the taxes, then I took a real estate class, then I went to this other class that talks about sovereignty, whatever you want to call it, being free. I'm like, wait a minute, because some of this terminology of real estate is me. Guardianship. Who you guardian? Coast Guards, right? Man, you start putting these words together, this ain't nothing but word play and word sales and black and white paperwork.
All day.
All day long.
And where do they put us at when we leave here? Don't they put us in some land?
Yeah, the cemetery, and they collect your bones too.
And so it's real estate. It's property.
Yeah, we are real estate.
Yes.
It's called.
And you got to think about the church too. The reason that the church have so much power is because they know that everybody going to transition. So a lot of that land grab was from ancestors that it could be so many generations long ago that these people was just buying up all the land, that when you look at the government, they say separate the church and the state. Well, why would they even have to say that if it wasn't a conspiracy from the beginning? So if you had ancestors that existed 10 generations ago, and at that time when they transitioned, the church just said, all right, this land is mine, and then they flipped it from church land to government land. Now I dare you to go in your city or town and not find places that you can't get into. You can't just go and patronize. It's government property. Well, how did the government get all this property? They got it through the church. Well, how did the church get it? People transitioned and they said, this land is ours now, right? So family, government, church is all one big old game that's being played in front of our faces in real time. This land's supposed to be free. You know for sure you can't just walk into no government building, and there's more churches in here. Like, where do all these churches come from? All of this is in the area of taxes and legalese and paperwork that the average person is just too green to understand, right? But when we get into a real conscious sovereignty conversation, spiritual conversation, then you need all of yours back. And when you get into the nitty-gritty of this spiritual work and you find yourself outside of prosperity, you're doing something wrong. Something is amiss. Because it ain't no poor righteous teachers no more when all of this wealth is coming from the bloods and bones of our ancestors. Literally, figuratively, in any ways of ritual is coming from our ancestors. So these people have not created anything, right? They have just stolen everything. And who do they steal it from? And who are the representations of the people that they stole it from? It's us twerking on a handstand at a red light because we don't know ourselves no more. And why they living high off the land. So it causes us to get into this spirituality just to get some progress and some motion about ourselves. Because without it, it's like, you know, we outside of the loop.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they have done. And the, you know, what it is that's why they call us minorities and minors, because they put together a system that they didn't tell us how to use it. It's just like giving us a brand new car and don't show you how to drive it. You got to figure out. Now, once you learn how to drive the car, you good. You okay. But they like, here's the car. Now it's up to you. You can figure out how to drive it.
And then
100%.
They don't teach
you
economics. They don't teach you economics and finance unless you're probably in a private school or something. You know, they don't teach you this in a public school, maybe in a regular school, but maybe those schools that are like preparatory or maybe a little bit, they teach you this stuff. But why is it that we are in the house of Mercury, the community, but then we go up to the Jupiter taught houses of learning, and you come out with a high school diploma, and do you even use half the information that you use? All you need is the basic formula on how to add and subtract and do math, multiplication past 12. It's like they don't teach us that. And how many of us in our home that grew up, they didn't even teach you past 13 or didn't teach you about the fundamentals of finance. If we would have had a better understanding of finance and the banking, you think we'll be on top right now? At least we'll be better in the situation we're in right now.
Right. Just basic information, not nothing real crazy to be a millionaire. But when you look at the people on the earth, it seems as though you need a basic understanding of finances and keeping in track of your finances, because if you don't have that in order, you through booking. There ain't nothing nobody could do for you. You better do a money spill or something, right? Because ain't nobody going to help you. Ain't nobody going to save you. So it's like some people come out the womb knowing how to manage their finances and things of that nature. But our people, it's almost like we handicapped by the lack of basic financial information, right? We don't get taught these things until it seems like it's too late. Be dang near 30 talking about let me get my credit together when you should have been building it since you was 18. You know, it's wild.
Everybody teaches at 18 it's about credit.
Not at all.
Where do credit come from? Anybody speak on that? Where do credit come from? Anybody?
Well, what
That's a great question. It comes from trust.
Trust.
Go ahead.
I heard one time. I don't know how real this is, but this is what's been said, that your credit score comes from your mother placenta. Why is that they want your placenta, which comes from the 8th house, that womb energy? Why is that they really get upset that you taking your own something that comes out of you? Like, why are you mad? How much money you paying for that? $1 million? Man, you owe us some money. Not even owe us. Go get your money.
Yeah, and that's why mothers need to take their placenta, encapsulate it, and make sure that they ingest that placenta or do something spiritually with that placenta over giving it to the hospital? Why are they making it a big deal? They know what your value is. They know us better than we know ourselves, man. That's how this thing works.
It costs more than giving baby. I mean, more than giving birth. That's how much a placenta is worth. It's more than just that. That's why they want it, because you got all your ancestors' information up in that placenta. That's a lot of information.
It's a lot of info.
Everything that come out of you is information. You want to do a blood test, drug test. They don't want to poach you, give you vaccination to see how your body's going to react to it. All this stuff. Why? I'm giving you getting information from my body or our body. Why is it that they want to jab your kids when they first come out your womb? Vitamin K. What is vitamin K? What does my child need this for when it's been given everything get at womb if you've been eating right? You know what I'm saying? I'm saying eating right, but if you fed your body right, you know, you may let some vitamins or whatever. They may come out with certain issues. That's why we have issues. And actually going back to the issues is going back to the minority. Issue. We're just having issues up around here.
Yeah,
it's because that they treat us, and that's what they call us, minors. They know that they treat us like children because they know we don't know. And we have to get out of the mindset of, what do children do? Children look for their parents to take care of them. This is what you got creativity for. You have to be able to use your creativity. When you tap into and start using your creativity, it evolves. That's your God conscious. That's that source there. Then when you get out of not depending on, y'all didn't tell us this, y'all didn't give us this. When you start creating when you're creating, you're figuring things out. You're not a minor. You're not a child anymore, and they're not going to look at you and treat you like a child anymore.
Sure isn't.
Because we got that mindset, we need the government to help us. They didn't teach us this. They didn't show us, okay, but when you found out, it's up to you to get on it now. So this is what a lot of people are doing. They growing up. They like, this is how you drive that car. Okay. I don't need mama and daddy to drive me nowhere. What do? Your parents drive you around until you become of age, and then you go and learn how to drive yourself.
Right, because why do your insurance ask you about the household? If they're 15 or older, they got to put them on the insurance almost damn near. Why y'all doing that? They can't even drive, but he's acceptable that he can drive. Or she.
Well, you also need to look up that the United States, which is a corporation, it's an insurance company. It's called the United States Fidelity and Guarantee Company. So they are insured. Everything that they do, everything is insured. This is how they're making money.
And that's because they know for sure people going to die, you know. They kind of bank on something that we're afraid of.
Well, that's what they did when you were born. That's why they took the placenta. You lived. The placenta died. They took that and put it on the market and making gobs of money off of it.
Okay, we sitting here like we need some money.
But
we sitting here trying to figure it out.
But we like children, and so now it's like, okay, great, y'all did all of that in my name. Okay, where's my cut? You can't, it's like we're not telling you about it because we put this system together, so we getting the benefits from it. But it's like, okay, you've been getting the benefits, but where's my part? It started with me.
The main source. And that makes sense because the 8th house is the insurance, right? It's where they get all types of insurance. Everywhere you go, they have
that's
some insurance.
What we dealing with. Cars. Yes, and that's what we're dealing with. The company, the corporation is an insurance corporation. Fidelity and Guarantee. That's the name of the United States. In 1871, it became that's when it became. So it's like, you got to get out that child mindset and become a grown up, and you got to learn all of this and use your creativity and tap in. And it just start, once it connects, it'll just start flowing. It'll come to you. It'll lead you to different places.
That's perfect. Because it's like when we get our business together and we get our spirit together, it's almost like we become unstoppable energies in this world. Sometimes we focus too much on business, forget our spirit. Sometimes we do too much spirit, forget our business. But the adult way of looking at this thing is taking care of both and not being consumed with one or the other. That's what I took from what you said, Miss Beverly.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because our body is the avatar. Mm-hmm. You got to use both. You're dealing with both.
Sure.
So sometimes
the body is the way of the body is the way of taking it from the spiritual. The spiritual is you start out in your mind, and you have to be able to put the action to it. Your avatar is your body. Your body is how you put the action to it.
Oh. That's funny. I just watched the movie The Avatar, The Way of the Water. Boy, eye-opener again. But that was so magnetic because everything was within, even connecting to the well. But I was going to say, that's why sometimes we get derailed so we can tap into our spiritual gifts, like these trains derailing. Not only the trains derailing, the airplanes all over is derailing. But look at, you got Uranus and Taurus. Is that not the throat chakra? Doesn't the trail look like a throat? How it curves and all that stuff. Don't it look like that? So why are these trains derailing? There's something that needs to be corrected before it can get back on. So once you get back on, it's like, oh, okay, time train coming. They had to get fixed. They had to go through some kind of mechanical issue so it can get back on track. And what is it leaking? Why is it leaking? What's coming out of you? Is it some old stuff that's blocking your throat chakra? You know, all these things. It's something. Whatever is going on in the physical realm is happening on the internal realm in some kind of way or fashion. Look at it. How was y'all feeling around May 22nd? Did y'all all of a sudden just start feeling some kind of way? Maybe y'all voice started to get a little hazy, got a little mucus in your throat, or whatever was going on. How was y'all feeling around that time?
What was going on May 22nd? What was going on May 22nd?
That whole week was an eye-opener. That's when things started to settle in. That's when these things whatever's going on this year since last October, it started to set in because it's almost time for the next transition, the next phase to come in. So things it was a build-up, it was a process. Like when you got to make something, it's a process towards you get to the end, to the finished product. So we were just in the middle of that finished product of something going on, something being made. So around May 22nd, the last week, you know, there was some configuration going on. Not only in May, it was also in June, it's also in July, and let's see what happened the first week of August.
Mm-hmm.
Numerically speaking, I'm speaking about this. So I'm putting all this in my book. Mm-hmm. So when my book comes out, you guys can read about this information.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What's the name of the book?
The name of my book
you ain't ready to drop that yet?
I give you the title of the name, but I'm not giving you the information of the name. So my book is called Universal. It's called Know Your Numbers for one, but the Universal, the personal year, your months, days, weeks, and your life path and pinnacles all in alignment. It's all decrypted. So that's what my book is about. Coming soon. How to align yourself. So everything we do is mathematical.
Right.
I understand that. From what I see, what was happening May 22nd, and I'm going to grab that book when it drops, so make sure you message me. What I seen happen was Mars was at the same position that the sun and moon was, but the major thing that's taking place is that it's an opposition of Pluto. And when you have oppositions to Pluto, these are major tasks for transformation because oppositions make us get out of our comfort zone. So during May 22nd, we had to act outside of our comfort zone and kind of like break away, like break ground for something. And maybe we didn't know what we were building. Maybe we knew exactly what we were building. The odds are we had no idea what we were building, but we just felt the need for major change during this time. And now it's almost as if we were able to start building, right? You know how it's a process before you start building on land? You got to excavate. You got to prepare. You got to do your measurements and things of that nature, get your supplies, budget. It's a lot that goes into building. Now, if we fast forward to now, the new moon is in Cancer, so that means it's time to build with the ancestors, build with the Great Mother, and build from a spiritual perspective. What are you going to build? Some of y'all ain't going to build nothing. Some of y'all are going to say, I want to build me a tiny house, even though I'm big, right? Some of us want to have small dreams or no dreams at all. But this ain't the time for that, right? And then also it's not like, all right, we're going to build this and this is going to get built for us. We got to be prepared for the building too. So the effort and energy that we taken from now until the remainder of this year is going to be in reference to our intention and what we see building for ourselves. Now, the major thing that I just said is that we can't just be waiting for ancestors and spirits to be building it for us. What do we want? And how strong are we to really start to project what we actually want and what we're actually going to build and how we're going to show up for ourselves? This is major, but, you know, many are called, few are chosen type of energy.
Yeah, because as the numerical energy next year, when 2020 came around, right, that was the United States pretty much. What's the birth of the United States? July 4th. And actually it's 444 right now. So it was July 4th, right? And 2020 was a 4 year, right, numerically speaking. So what was going on? What did they do that year? They had you at home in the fourth house. That's Cancer. They had you in the home, or some of y'all wasn't in the home, but that was the whole plan, was to have you inside the home, doing things, finding new ways to build a new foundation within your career, professional, internal, even time to see what's going on in your children's life, your personal life, maybe through some mental issues or going through a mental breakthrough as well, too. But the United States is a July 4th, and I always said they're like a jack, like a jack, right? Jack in the box kind of thing. But United States is a jack of diamonds. And a jack of diamonds, or a jack, is pretty much 4 is the home. So it's going to make sure that it feeds you, clothes you, take care of you. All the things, going to provide all the necessity that you need and the amenities that you need. But you're going to have to work for it, because when you hit 4 corners in that jack of a box, at some point you got to wind that thing on up so you can come on out the box and get some air, right? That's why the United States has a 4, and there's a 1 attached to that 4. You have to get rid of the old things that you have learned your lesson from. Like, how many times you going to learn a lesson in a relationship if the same kind of man you keep attracting? Why are you attracting that person? Now, people say women attract men or men attract women because of what their vibration on. No, not necessarily, because what's that energy in your alignment? Is it your Venus, your Jupiter? They're trying to tell you a sign that, hey, you need to work on this area. What house is it in? Look at that energy, too, when people come into your life. What house do they sit in? I can't go to Eric's house. He may got certain rules. Dad may say take your shoes off. I'm like, I ain't opening my door, So you have to figure out at whose house, what can you do? And that is the 4th of July. They want to be home to everybody, want to be friends to everybody. But guess what? They're also the secret enemies. Everybody, that's why the United States is always in trouble with China or whatever, however it may be. Either they frenemies or they friends. Think about the Democratic and Republican. That's a 4 and a 9. 9 has open enemies. A 4 is secret enemies. But they both want an agenda done. But it's all how they go about it. So you look at these energies like this. It's really all like, how can we help the community? But it don't seem like they're helping you, but actually they actually have all the tools and resources that you need to help yourself when you go into that one energy, which is self-energy. You find a way out of all the hoops and go into the four walls, feeling trapped in. When you finally figure it out, wow, you're going to take a deep breath and breathe. Like, wow, all I had to do was walk through the door. It's like a fly that's trying to get out the house, and the door is literally right around the corner. There's the out. So how long are you going to keep yourself trapped in this world, in this mental state of mind? Because 4 is mental. It's a mental energy number. And July 4th has the numbers of 4, 1, 2, and 7. It's the sun numbers and the moon numbers. So sometimes they shine and sometimes they ain't. And they most favorable months are February, June, July, and August. So for these 2 months right here, July and August, are going to be very prime time for the United States. So, of course, they're going into the 7th year. Look at the 7th house. They want to put in new laws, new restrictions, new legal laws, all types of things, right? But at the end of it, it's going to come down to the laws of nature. I kind of just jumped around that a little bit, though.
That that is so true. And you know, and I added those numbers up that you just, that 4, 1, 2, 7. It came to a 5. Dealing with change. And I say something else. Let me think what I'm about to just say about this 4 energy. And also in how they, part of their system that they have set up, when you put something in a box has that 4 corners. It doesn't exist. So why do you think when you get your bill why they put it in that box? You got to put the number in there. It doesn't exist. See, they use this. You can call it, they using formulas, little trick, whatever you want to call it. But again, that's the car. You just got to know how to drive the car. And why on your check, you got to put the figure inside of the box. That means it doesn't exist. Anything inside of a 4 corner it doesn't exist. So you got to look at all that too.
And look at this too. Like, look at your friends around you, and look at those who are born on the 4th, the 13th, the 22nd, the 31st, the 1st, the 10th, the 19th, the 28th, the 2nd, the 11th, the 20th, the 29th, and on the 7th, the 16th, the 25th. Look at these people. Now look at people who are born on those numbers that are probably successful in life, right? The billionaires, because July is a 4 number. So, of course, the 4 energy is going to do good here, or a 1 energy, or a 2 energy, or a 7. Now, it may take some of them a minute before they can really understand what their talent and gift is, but pretty much the numbers are associated with some people. So you might, this is your time. This world, well, I say the world, this United States birth is pretty much for you, not against you.
Yeah.
Because look, isn't the Cancer energy is more of a nurturing energy, Like you say, that for a lot of cancers are that mother energy, that 4 energy is dealing with the mother, the home. So it's like, oh, I'll take care of you. I'll feed you.
It's
right.
like a nurturing.
Energy, like a nurture energy.
But then it can be somewhat chaos and scary too. The deeper you get into it, the more you get submerged around it. It's like we need to be grounded. So it's like it's a lot. Cancer energy is loving and nurturing from a distance. But the more you submerge yourself into it, the more chaotic it becomes. That's why if you got like a Cancer kid, that's the one that, they like, oh, he's so sweet, she's so loving. Like, I'll wait till you get around him and see him for real. He ain't all that
Thank you. I have a Cancer, and that's what we call a chaos. And you're right. We're like, oh, Lord, we got to deal with this chaos.
Here we go again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but when they
cancers.
good though.
Mhm.
Go ahead. You were saying something, Kaya?
I was just saying, especially those 4 energy cancers. They got them out of unusual, unexpected mood swings. First you in a conversation, then they walking out the door like, "Where you going?"
Mm-hmm.
You didn't want to hear my advice,
right? Or the conversation is not for me. They're gonna go out the door.
Yeah, they're not gonna hear you.
And look at how the corporation is set up. They get moody. They get in their feelings. You know what I'm saying? Because especially when you start to understand what their plan is, although having the plan, having the structure, it is the foundation. That's why they put the Chiron in the 4th house in Aries, so you can lose yourself, lose your identity. You know what I'm saying? So who you are. So why is it in the 4th house? These are some of the questions that I ask myself. Why the 4th house that Aries in there? And not only that, the deacon that is in is in a sun position, so that's you.
Mhm.
That's us understanding who we are, identity. Like why were we robbed of that? Why wasn't our parents know this? Because they've been trained to get a job or whatever how to slavery, it been going down from generation to generation, and then we look at these generational planetary alignment. Sometimes we got to look at it like this. This generation did that, and then this generation is doing this. It's like we all are recycling off these energies of the generational thing. So one generation may do very good, but the ones like leading up to Sagittarius and Capricorns and Aries, they don't really do much fine because the Pluto from like Pluto and Libra and Pluto and Virgo, they're really putting in the work physical work, And that's why a lot of beating was going on around that particular time because of slavery. 5 is a physical thing. So why people born on the 5th, 14th, 23rd, they either have stories about or their friends been raped, they've been robbed, the street life. People are very immune to these things, ancestors going on in the family. There's always some kind of like abuse, mentally, verbally, or physically abuse in the 5 energy. And some of them could be womanizer, like Donald Trump. Even, what's his name? Who was that man, that Rich Dad Poor Dad? He even said Donald Trump is a womanizer, and he's glad that he didn't get his wife. I'm like, really?
Well,
you
Donald Trump,
in your wife like that?
Well, to me, Donald, I've been following Donald Trump ever since he was young. Donald Trump is a rich playboy. He don't have, women just throw themselves at him. He don't have to go after no woman. They come to him.
And that's a 5.
He was a playboy.
5 and 6 energy people and 9. They got women around them. They got women working for them. It's like they don't even have to do nothing to sit back and be boss man and direct and delegate.
Yes. Yeah.
It can be that simple with a 5 energy because they're mentally strong.
Yeah.
Right. And so Donald Trump, you might not like him, but he's mentally strong.
For real. And that's why they don't like what they say. They say the darnest thing, a 5 person, but they be telling you the truth because why? They experienced it, they seen it, they witnessed it, they've been involved in it, and that's why Donald Trump is a middleman, and that's why he sit in the 7th house. That's why they can't really take that man like that because he know all their secrets, he know their plans, he know their agenda. Matter of fact, he is the agenda.
And he telling the people, he like, I'm going to tell y'all what's going on. Right. What y'all going to do about it?
I think we learn a lot, though, from that. He's somewhat invincible, right? He got an aura about him that say he can't be touched. And I feel as though as spiritual beings, when we exemplify that aura of quote-unquote truth-telling, at first it might be scary because we don't want to quote-unquote get in trouble, but at the same point, that's our freedom for real. When we are getting codes and keys of this matrix and we don't share them with people, that probably is a lot of our downfalls, But when we are emboldened to just have the fire of the ancestors behind us, we are able to change our lives. We are able to say things and move mountains and do all of the things that we don't even think that we was capable of, but it got to be some level of saying stuff that the status quo and people ain't ready to hear. And I think we all have that capability at some level, that radical energy of just transformation.
Because when you tap in and when you get to really tap in and get to a certain point, what comes with it is confidence. And confidence and truth. Confidence and truth, I mean, those are unbeatable.
Right.
And that's why Donald Trump talks the way he talks. Because he
has the confidence.
He has that confidence, for sure.
And you know what, too? I wonder why. I was just to watch Donald Trump, his apprenticeship, right? Why did he always say, you fired, you fired, you fired, you fired? And literally, that's what we can tell our bosses at work. You're fired. We don't even know that. I don't have to give you 2-week notice. You're fired. But make sure you put it in the newspaper.
You're fired.
Right.
That fire energy. Powerful.
You're fired.
He used it as a mantra. Yeah, he used it, and he propelled himself up. There wasn't nobody watching The Apprentice one day thinking, this man should be president one day. If he was president, I'll vote for him. Like, wasn't nobody thinking that, but I'm sure he was thinking it the whole time. He was being real strategic about how he was going to be in the forefront, and he used that fire for sure. I wanted to say something before we got on this live, like something that I felt like I was going to say about symbols. And, you know, Kaya, she the queen of the symbology. And now that we talk about Donald Trump and you're fired, it just reminds me of how powerful symbols are to our subconscious mind, where it don't have to be nothing super advanced, nothing super intricate for it to access our subconscious mind and bring about transformative changes. Something as simple as fire could be the symbol that you need, the totem that you need to kind of propel you through life, a triangle. And Kaya, you know about numbers as like totems, as energy sequences. Do you feel me when I say that, or no?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, them animals and symbols. So symbols, to me, they really derive from just a linear, like just a one, like a zero. Every number and everything comes from that zero. Everything is in zero and out of zero. That's why when the nose of the moon or any sign, when it goes to 29 degrees, where did it go? It go to zero. Everything is made from that. Yeah,
so the zero is like a continuation. It's like, you know, it's a continuation. Right.
Think about
and
number 8.
Don't we kind of do that when we come back again? You know how we had a past lives, and we continue to come back and build on from where we left off.
You know what? So this is my own personal experience, is that when we come back where we left off, sometimes we have to really remember where we left off at. We don't even know what contract we even signed until we go back into meditation, deep meditation to the mother's womb, even doing like certain signs with your fingers, with your hands. Let's think about sign language. Why is sign language important? You know, even though the deaf may understand, but how do you understand it as a person who can speak English, and the person who's deaf don't understand what you're saying until you start speaking sign language, almost like symbol language, right? That's what we're doing with our hands, is symbols. Every finger points to something, that eyes, ears on your hand. Our whole body.
And it's like your mind understands it, just like the language. That's powerful. The symbols is endless of what you can use, but do you find it that people are having a hard time with understanding how to use symbols for their benefit?
They probably don't know how to use symbols. That's probably how most of us get stuck in stagnation, because we don't understand the how. You know, I wouldn't even say the how, the what, when, where part, because we are all the how. The Hall is in us.
Ashe. I love
and
that.
I think symbol is a remembrance of time, of things that occurred, that happened. So like tigers, lions, if you ever around these things, symbols, it's almost as if like when you see these things, there's a download coming through or something. There's a remembrance coming through. There's something that you connect with this energy to, whether it's birds, whether it's stones, whatever it may be that comes to you that resonates with your energy. Because like Camilla said, our bloodline is totally different, but yet we're still one within that zero. We just come from different parts of the world.
Yeah, Shay.
For the galaxy.
You want to talk on that and you want to talk about that in your book, Kaya?
Maybe in the next one. I gotta get. Maybe in the next one, I gotta get all these numbers out of my system.
I feel you. I feel you. I know that book is a long time.
So why you
Eric, are you still with us? Eric?
I watched a movie called Old.
Okay.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Yeah, I watched this movie called Old by M. Shyamalan. And the plot of the movie, the key is this little genius boy who been observing his relatives run this island. And this island has a mineral rock that it ages people because it's a high magnetic field, but it only ages. It don't age the melanin people. The people with melanin, they didn't age, but they died from drinking the Kool-Aid. I remember I tell y'all about drinking that Jim Jones Kool-Aid. So when you arrive to the island, first of all, it's a pharmaceutical company that owns the island, and everybody there is there intentional because they've been following their records, and so they want to try this experiment drug, which is this rock that's on this island that has a high magnetic field, which makes you age 50 years in one day. So the little boy who was on the island, he looks adopted because he looks like an Asian, but everybody running the island is kind of Albion. And then so he writes symbols to the little kids that's there because they doing the experiment on the little kids to see how fast they age. So he writing symbols to them, right? And the kids, of course, you know how children are. You give them a tablet, man. They talking to children in China on the tablet, right? So he man, I'm telling you, man, these children is fascinating. He writes these symbols. So it ain't until these people was on the island. I think he come there. He 11, and his little sister like 9. They like in their 50s on the island, and they pulled the note that he wrote them out with the symbols on it out of his pocket, and it says, "My uncle don't look like the coral reef." Why is that important? Because coral reef don't age. So he was telling them, y'all see that big hunk of coral reef out there? If you try to go back through the rocks and go back out the way you came in, that is the high magnetic field with the special rocks. That's what ages. So go in the water and go toward the coral reef. That way you will not age. Man, he wrote that in symbols. Amen. That brother right there, when he write a movie, man, y'all got to check it out. He wrote Unbreakable. He wrote Split. He wrote Glass. And he wrote some other crazy-ass movies, too. But this one, Old, man, don't drink the Kool-Aid, man. Candy, Skittles, man, man, candy, don't mess with no candy, man, because it's based on candy. What they doing is they making drinks, and they putting candy inside the drinks. So, it's a children's table. So the children go to the table, and they see all that, sweet stuff, and they start drinking it. But they don't know that they finna turn 50 years in one day. Hey man, the movie is crazy, but when you think about how these people move, you can say that this shit is really going on somewhere.
I'm dropping dick off. I'm dropping dick off.
They put it in your face. What you gonna do about it?
Yeah, they gonna tell you.
Unconscious. It's happening in their unconscious right now.
Thank you. But I like what the conversation Friday, and that is, somebody can put a thought in your mind and expand it, and they can take something from thin air and make it appear like it's really going down because you concentrated and focused on it. You had a focus on it. You seen it. You talked about it. You know, Marshall McLuhan was baffling people when he talked about how the media is a massage. You know what I'm saying? They can put a thought in your mind through a TV, and man, you just a sitting dummy. Like you don't even know how to go get a fork out the kitchen cabinet and eat your food. That's how dumb you would be when you watch the TV. He explained that. He was explaining that to media people. They would having arguments when debates with him, and he was eating them alive. He just say a few words and just. He said, man, all you got to do is watch a presidential debate on 3 different TVs. You watch one in color, you watch one in black and white, and you turn the volume down on the other one. He said, you will see the live coming through. He said, as a matter of fact, one year 2 presidents were debating, and the TV just totally lost power. It went out because you can't he said, you can't sit in he said, the way we talking right now, just regular, you know, back-to-back conversation. You know, you say something, I say something. It's not planned. It's not written down on paper. He said, that's what TV is for. He said, if you write something and you want somebody to say something, he said the TV, it ain't made for that. Oh, man, he was baffling their mind way back in the 60s and the 70s. Y'all can go check him out. His name Marshall McLuhan. His main, how you find him is the media is the massage. But it looked like it's a message. The media is the message, and the media is the massage. And then you got the movie They Live. They tell you straight in your face in the movie They Live, the main demons was at the TV station. They was running everything. And when you put the glasses on, it's still going on, Beverly. Hey, Beverly, if something is working, why would you change it?
Yeah, you're right.
Right. Let me ask what you were saying, Eric. You were talking about the when they drink into their age, right? They put that in the movie Pinocchio when he wasn't listening to his conscience, and he went along with the other people. And they went in that little bar and they started drinking stuff, and one by one they turned into donkeys, right? One by one. So Pinocchio woke up like, wait a minute, hey, I don't want to turn to no donkey now. So that was one thing. Then you mentioned the movie about turn the volume down, right? Well, isn't that what they did in the movie called Birth of the Nation? There was no volume. There was nothing but just a play playing out. And actually, my column is called Rebirth of a Nation, what we're going through right now. And then you said massage, right? It sounds like message. But look at a massage. How many of y'all get a massage, right? People can actually, if you have these healing kind of hands or this ability, if you get a massage, people receive messages through a massage, through the hands. Because they can massage things where you even think they knew they had pain at. But they massage in that area because it's something that your body signaled to that person to go and do.
Interesting. And I want to drop this on y'all. This is something that's going on that we should all be keeping up with. Is these sisters. I want to big up the Michiganders out there in Michigan. Just last weekend, they had a women's psychedelic conference. And if y'all want to hear the recap, y'all can go just type in Women's Psychedelic Conference Detroit 2023, and it's a magnet, crystals, and pyramids with Hank Rising Sun. He hosted some of the females that was at that conference. Man, y'all should go listen to what these females were going. But they was putting their yoni juice on crystals. I'm gonna say this again. They was putting their yoni juice on crystals. Okay, so this is not a time to be playing around at all. This is not a time to be playing around. Okay, I heard y'all talking about grandma hands earlier, and if mama tell you to go out there and get a switch, you better not get one of them Bill Withers. You better not get one of them Bill Withers. that bad boy better have some meat on it. Miss Withers, she going to get one, and you don't want that. She gonna put them grandma hands on you, all right. So yeah, that's this Big Mama energy is for real, y'all, and it's a beautiful thing to have it today on 777, which gives you a 21. And what's potent about that, how you derive to the number 20 is the word 7, S-E-V-E-N. If you do all those numbers, simplify them as you go, simplify the S, the E is 5, the V is 22, but it's a 4. You count them all the way out like that, you're going to get the number 20. And 1, well, the word 1 gives you the number 7. So it's a continual bridge. Actually, if you write down the word Egypt, it's all 7s. Okay, GYP in the middle is 777. And then you put the E to the T. That's 5 and 2. That's another 7. So we just building bridges, and it's mighty funny, Beverly, that you do radio with Eddie Rodriguez, who is in Puerto Rico across the water, and Puerto Rico, right? The port of riches, and we've been talking about how rich we are, and he was the manager of who? Tito Puente, and Puente means bridge.
Wow. And in numerology, well, the 7, I look at numbers differently on an astro, numerical, and that's what I guess Hermetic said signs and symbols for me. I look at it on different levels. So a 7 is the bridge. But what is it the bridge to? Well, it's the bridge from the 1 to the 6, right? And then once you get over the bridge, but you gotta apply the work. And you got all the information from the 1 to 6. You have to apply it through research, and then through that research, your creativity, your introspective, your meditation, things will start coming to you before you can reach. What's after the 7? It's the 8th house, right? It's number 8. So before you can get all that, that's where your rewards come in. So now we moving into that energy field next year, that 8th house energy. So if you want to get that inheritance, that insurance, that rebirth, the taxes, whatever you may be owed to you through a life insurance policy, whatever it may be that they've been hidden from you, it's going to come through.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not applying yourself, you want to be on that bench waiting for the bus to come.
Babe, may I ask that you...
and the bus not even running.
And the bus ain't running. Like, you know what? You know what? Let's think about that bus, though, because, Forrest Gump said on that bus, telling the whole story about his whole life and what he did on the bus. And then at the end, he said, "You want some chocolate?" Mama said, "Life is about the chocolate. You never know what you're going to get." And then at the end, what he found out, he had a baby. Didn't even know he was a father.
Mm-hmm. Did the bus ever come? I'm trying to remember.
No problem. No, go ahead.
Did the bus ever come?
Or
did it never come? Okay.
The bus came at the end, but after he told the story.
Got you. Well, go ahead, Eric. What you saying?
Oh, I was gonna ask Beverly. Let's spin some turntables, and then when we come back, let's just look at the bus from the other side as a subterranean level. Let's go into the quantum. Let's talk about Henrietta Lacks some more. Hood Mystic. Let's go into the quantum, man. Let's get into this next thing. Let's get into it.
She's live and present.
Already. All right, let's do it. Let's roll it.
Okay, we're gonna put some Henrietta Lacks on here.
This is a letter to a woman who walked into ER as patient but was turned science experiment, and after her death, her cells lived on forever, proof that black girls really are magic. Dear Miss Henrietta Lacks, I hear hospitals round here used to disappear poor people and reverse engineer their beings, secretly gentrifying yourselves from your body, like you too good for your bones. Same as they drop black boys into cells from their homes, calling on your molecular structure for answers like a cellular phone, cause you regenerate going on and on like a Duracell clone, dissecting sections of your skeleton, turning your segments into specimen, holding your death under a microscope. And now my people don't walk into hospitals cause we know we look like an experiment. No, this heartbeat sounds like hypothesis. Corporations are carnivores and we ain't trying to be prey. Only God be our healer, so we make medicine between two hands when we pray. We remedy, we outback garden herb and seed. We get rest and drink herbal tea cause we know the history. Know that plantations fed the hungry mouths of medical wards, starving for sick niggas, devouring organs and intestines, navigating through gastro tracts like map questing herd. The stories of night doctors, white-robed grim reapers and grave robbers, collecting colored clinical materials for tester trials to treat the privilege from the parish they published. The findings of the faceless, So medical journals are literally an obituary for the nameless, the stories of our grandmothers line our genetics, teaching us not to trust these doctors and their anesthetics. So we opt out of procedures, guess it's bio, logic. The birth certificate is already a bill of sale, but we're not for profit, Miss Lax. If they never found a cure in your DNA, I wonder would we even know your name? If your blood did not become elixir, no extractions without your permission, would you even be mentioned? Or just one of the thousands of black souls getting their caps sold, or black skin getting capsuled into capsules of modern day medicine, just one of the thousands whose screams dangle from the scalpels, an insignificant instrument for their medical instruments to play on. But these days, your immortal cells are legends, so I guess the world will never know.
I have someone else that want to join the round table with us. 904-430. 904.
Hi.
You're live. Greetings.
Hello.
Greetings. Hello.
Greetings. Hi.
You have a question or a comment? Good.
The question is, it's about my career. I just feel kind of stagnant right now, so I don't know. Very frustrated.
What's your birthday?
Okay.
It is 12/16.
12/16.
16.
Okay.
Oh, 7.
Yeah. Well, this is month, July. So, here's
I
the
have
thing.
her as an 8. I have her as an 8.
Yes, she is. She's in an 8 year. She's in an 8 year, and she's going through a 6 personal month. So what that indicates that this whole year is not going to be an easy year. You feel like, it's like once you complete one thing or get over one thing or things come out the past, the woodwork, build this, adapt this, it's always there's a lesson to this because you're trying to position yourself and we're trying to advance yourself. So maybe things that you've been applying for in a job, workforce is not for you anymore. You have to go with a different route that what you are good in, whether it's organizing, whether it's in research, technology, web design. Those are kind of some areas you can go into if you feel that way because the 8 energy can feel like you're just overwhelmed with a lot of things. That's when frustration and anxiety and stagnation kick in. So you have to remember who you are as far as what can you do? What are you good at? What are my skills? What is your passion? What are you passionate about? So this year it's going to kick you in the butt for sure. You have to sacrifice something, whether it's your diet, whether it's a relationship. You have to put something off. The distractions got to remove itself so you can focus and concentrate on what you need to concentrate on. And this particular month is going to be a very slow month. If you're waiting on any kind of rewards or benefits to come through, it's going to be a slow one. It picked back up on the first week of August, but right now it's slow. You got to figure it out. This month, it wants you to sense it. It wants you to feel it. It wants you to be it. It wants you to smell it. So once you get all those things, you're going to feel it. You're sensing it already. You're feeling it already. It's just not coming through right now. It hasn't made itself known. We still got some couple of days before it makes itself known. By the last week of July, you'll know where you're heading as far as a new direction, where you're going.
Okay.
And
also, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead,
Beverly, please.
No, I was just going to tell her when she's in that kind of energy. When she's in that kind of energy, this is when you have to push. It's kind of like a door. The door is not locked. It's just stuck. And this is where you push through. When you do the pushing and you push through, this is when you make that accomplishment. This is when you go to another level.
Okay.
It's all about going through levels.
And also the nature of your archetype, a horse is very sensitive of their feet. So we in the month of the Cancer, a crab move around and a crab have snappers, and it moves sideways, right? So if you unpredictable around a horse is very unpredictable around unpredictable circumstances, especially involving the feet. So you probably feel you can't really move around because that little crab is moving around, But so it like Kai said, it'll clear out. It'll clear out. In the meantime, you also have a higher self, which is an archer, and so you want to pull on your bow and arrow. You know what I mean? And you might just want to aim somewhere and then see where you might need something like a walk in the woods. Something to set off, something to take your mind off what's going on, something that'll put you at ease for a little while until this time passes. But yeah, I can dig it because I'm kind of going through the same thing, but I called in with appreciation and gratefulness. You know what I mean? That's my solvent. It's just be grateful when things are going slow, but I'm still super rich and wealthy. You know what I mean? In a lot of ways, so I'm not worried about it. Yeah.
I wonder. What? Too. The 8 energy is a mental energy as well too. So you're gonna have to use your mental willpower to will things into existence. So, like Eric said, grateful. You really got to start saying thank you for this house. Thank you for what you have already in your possession. You have to change the thought of your process, and then once you do that, other things start changing along with you. And like Beverly said, you got to push through like you're having a baby. You got to push that baby out. You birthing something right now.
Yeah.
You're going through a rebirth.
Yeah.
In an 8 cycle. You got to date with destiny, and destiny don't hold up for nobody. You know what I'm saying? So you have to meet up with this date, and it's all through sacrifice, pushing through, concentration, your focus, and your plan, and what is your agenda. Like, what did you start off in October last year? What was your plan? What was your want? What was your needs? Mainly your needs besides your wants. But what kind of direction were you heading? It may seem like your whole world about to collapse, but that's when everything gets great.
Okay.
I would say, from my perspective, frustration can result in from not walking in your path authentically and with full intention. So if you are somewhat stagnant in your spiritual journey, it could seem or show up as frustration. But when you are able to show up for your collective, your spiritual family, your soul family, all of those feelings of confusion or frustration get wiped away. So I would just be sure to ask yourself, are you doing the internal spiritual work? Are you clear with what your guides want for you? Are you clear with your soul? Are you developing relationships with your ancestors? In the simplest way, are you developing an internal relationship with your spiritual components? And if not, I would say that the result would show up as frustration, but it's only like being off the track or being out of alignment. It's just like an alarm or an alert. Like, it's not going to make you feel good if you're not on the right path. But if you feel like you're on the right path, then that frustration will start to resolve and relieve itself.
Okay.
And also, when they usually tell you to think outside of the box, you know, when you're in the box, you're in your comfort zone. When you're thinking and doing things outside of the box, that's when you're creating, and that you out of your comfort zone. So this is
I sure
what you
feel
need
out
to
of
be
my
doing
comfort
now.
zone, though.
Yeah, and you got to be, and you have to. You can't get to the next level being in your comfort zone. You have to create.
That's exactly what I said earlier.
Yeah. So it's about doing it, making it happen. That's what you're here for. You're here to create. And everybody or others will benefit from your creation, not just only you. That's what you're here for. All right. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you.
Peace.
Yeah, somebody operating in a Sagittarius always have to remember you have a bunch of weapons. You got that horse kick behind you. You got that bow and arrow. You can be in the water. You know what I'm saying? You could run. You could trot. You know what I'm saying? You have a lot of, how can I say it? Like Dr. Bobby Hemmett, Dr. Savy, C. Freeman L energy. You know what I'm saying? Like these cats that we got, man, they can drop some heavy stuff on you. But at the same time, they be going berserk in their own mind. You know what I'm saying? They can drop some heavy stuff on you, but in their own mind, they're going berserk. That's the Sag energy. You know? Yeah, because that's a horse. A horse is very fragile. A horse have nervous energy. You know, it's a flight energy. You know what I'm saying? A horse. Or if you close to a horse, he'll kill you. But if you like somewhere coming up on him, he hear you coming, he gone. He's not gonna stay around see who that is. He out of there. Mm-hmm. So Sagittarius always have to calm down, breathe deep, go somewhere in nature and stuff, and then you'll be straight. But when there's a lot of noise, you gotta be quiet. You know, so. Yeah, it's cool. It's just the way the planet is pressing, right? It's a diamond pressure making situation. You know what I'm saying? We all getting knocked off our comfort zone. It's being pushed to the next level. Yeah. But anyway, back to the quantum and I thank that sister for calling in too. That's what this call is for. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of other people heard that too. So hopefully everybody got fed. But Henrietta Lack in the movie Ant-Man and Quantum, Ant-Man Wasp. In the quantum, I did some research after that, and I was amazed to find that the ant, the wasp, and the bee is all one family member. So and an ant coming off the ground with wings is just one of them ground wasps. And oh man, in what is that? In Mecca, they have the pilgrimage to Mecca and everybody walk around in a golden mean spiral. Well, ants have a ritual. It's a breed of ants. They do the same thing. They do they spin around, and then they dying off. You know what I'm saying? They dying off. But it's just amazing the minds that these creatures have. Hood Mystic, after seeing that movie several times and thinking about Henrietta Lacks, what else can you peel off from what you got from that going down in that quantum, man? I noticed how everything was alive down there. Everything was intuitive. Everything was telepathic. Everything was alive. Either drinks, they were going back to them drinks. Them drinks was alive. Well, that living stuff was moving all around.
It was alive.
Man.
Yeah, everything was alive, right? So, like, think about this, right? They was messing around, didn't know what they was messing around with, right, and ended up in a place that they ain't really want to go, right? And then they trapped in what? They trapped inside a womb. Now, what is a womb? A womb is a universe, the universe. Y'all ever heard them say that before? The universe, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you think about it, though, Henrietta Lacks had what? Cervical cancer, right? But she could have possibly been pregnant because there is a specific cancer that gets created when a mother is born. And the placenta, which we talked about, the placenta is the modality that feeds the child. But if that was to ever have some level of cancer, I feel as though they took out her womb to study it, to understand it, right? Now, they're doing all of this studying and understanding of this womb, and it's leading to medical breakthroughs and giving people financial. So many families are existing on top of financial wealth because of the probing and understanding of the black womb. So then we transform it to the comics. What are the comics doing? Are they just making up random, wonderful stories for us to enjoy with our popcorn and families? Or are they decoding something that is deep, something that is true? And when you watch that movie, Ant-Man, the last one, I don't think it's Quantumania. Maybe it is Quantumania. But they're actually telling you the quantum world is in the black womb. And the black womb is not just this inanimate object. Kaya, you asked a question. Why did I ask you about those symbols? Because as I was getting ready for this live, something had told me these symbols are alive. These symbols are something that have a particular consciousness with it. And one of the symbols, and the symbol represents something that is actually happening. So the symbol of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is an analogy to the womb of the black woman, because even in their shows, what they show you is that when we get deep into our mythos, it leads us back to this womb. So as they are going through the subatomic realm and dealing with all of these energies, I hope that, this might sound far-fetched to the ladies that's listening to this. You carry universes and wombs and planets in your womb, whether you know it or not. It is so much power and so much life within you. Everything is alive. It's called the vaginal flora. And the vaginal flora is a rich place of bacteria, acids, minerals. It's actually a conducive environment for life, a portal for life to come through. And so when you look at that movie, they're traveling to and from a portal. Now, it might be a place that light up in blue and we can travel through, or it could be the woman that's in front of you, right? That portal is activated through the love making, and then the result of that is those children that's taking a nap, right? But we are in a very powerful time, and it's not so like far out and super futuristic than it is by rediscovering the love between black men and black women and doing the psychological work And then the most important thing, and I say this, y'all not going to get it till I say it for a couple of more years, but you got to create a mythology for yourself. You got to create a mythology, because if you don't create a mythology, you don't have no mythos. And when you look at these people like Marvel, they are just creating their own mythology, but using the energy that you embody inherently. They got to go to where you already at. You know, and that's what that movie showed me. You know, and when you reference Henrietta Lacks, you are referencing a symbol for black women in the power of their womb. Not even in the form of conjecture like something that I'm making up. Trillions upon trillions of dollars have been made from this woman's uterus. Trillions of dollars, and that is a complete correlation to Marvel Cinematic Universe. If not trillions of dollars yet, multi-billions of dollars have been made on a particular mythos that have been built upon the subatomic realm, which is the yoni, which is the womb, specifically the black woman's womb. And it was so interesting watching that movie and hearing Henrietta Lacks come through so strongly, because I didn't ever expect her to, but she for sure did. And the more you watch that movie, the more you can understand about it, in my personal opinion.
And what about the quantum call that I asked Kaya about you? And she said, oh, Hood Mystic? Oh, yeah, I got his number right here. And I called you.
That's the homie. That's the homie. Listen, and you talking to her like she don't know me, and we done sat face to face many a times.
Yeah, that's a tip. And not only that, what I had on my mind, not even knowing you, never met you, didn't know what to say to you, but when you picked up the phone, I said, "Hey, man, I've been getting this feed from Henrietta Lacks." You said, "What?" You said Henrietta Lacks. I just came off the movie theater watching that movie. I said, right. Damn. So that's what I'm saying about. That's what I'm saying about our thoughts and our intentions are quantum. They can be so minute. So much, the small things rules the big thing. That's all I can say about it. The small thing rules the big thing. Yeah.
The inside creates the outside.
Come on now, bruh. Come on now. That onion, that pine cone, the Milky Way, the seashell. I go back to the golden triangle, the golden mean ratio. Everything is based off of it. Everything. If you stay in that zone, nothing can never go wrong. Even when things going wrong, they going right.
Yeah. And listen, I can attest to what you were saying about the woman, because like you said, the pelvic floor, or what they may call it, something else different. Man,
vaginal flora.
It's like life underwater. You know,
Mm-hmm.
It's so many
100%.
levels to our bodies, and it just comes magically. If those who are very in tune, you will start to see this doing meditation, even just by like holding a triangle to your womb, and really doing some deep thinking on it. You're going to start seeing things and feeling things, and you're going to also probably start healing things in your body, because our body consists of everything we need to heal ourselves with. It has so many avenues, crystal, minerals, and all that in our body. And I have seen things beyond, like, I can see on the physical realm, but on the internal side, it's like, dang, you know, magical as like a fairy tale world. And it's so colorful. I see things in color. It's so colorful to me.
I'm gonna say it again, because y'all talking that's cool, Hood Mystic, you over there in Florida, because we were talking about that water energy, and man, are you by the water energy, and then Michigan. So the Michigan Psychedelic Women's Conference 2023. If y'all want to hear about the yoni downloads from the sisters, what they experienced, and with working with the crystals and working with nature, and man, it's really powerful, y'all. So y'all go check that out. And this conversation, this situation will continue, because man, this is getting real deep. Go ahead.
It is. And I want Kaya and Hood Mystic to give out their information so people can know how to contact them.
Sure. The easiest way to contact me is email hoodmystic@gmail.com. If you inquire about like my products or services, the best way to start is hoodmystic.com, and that has like all of my links. But if anything is unclear to you and you need just a conversation or clarification, email me at hood, HOOD as in dog, mystic, MYSTIC as in cat, @gmail.com.
Yes, my information is my name, Kaya French, KYAFRENCH.com is my website. If you need to have any questions or concerns, my contact number is 866-331-5088. That is 866-331-5088. I am also a columnist for the New York Amsterdam News, so if you'd like to see your numerical horoscope, you can also go to New York Amsterdam News to see it there. I do post them on my Instagram at Know Your Numbers, KNOWYOURNUMB. The E is a 3, RS, and Know Your Numbers. So I post them on Sundays and Mondays. So Kaya French is my website, KYAFRENCH.
All righty.
And you know what, speaking on this subject,
Go ahead.
speaking on this subject, we got Venus and Leo that's about to go retrograde. You know, it's like, I feel it myself. You know, it's going to be, and so I think it's going to be conjunct Lilith or somewhere near Lilith in the universe. So that's women, you know, Lilith was the one who said no to Adam. So it's going to be a lot of women that's going to be start taking a stand and believing in what they are and not so much like equal rights. Well, equal rights, but equal in pay as well, too, equal in what they're doing. Not only that, just really understanding that their power, women's energy is the foundation of every nation. That's why the fourth house is Cancer, and it has Chiron in there for a reason.
Yeah, that's the home, the womb.
And it definitely is conjunct. We got a Venus conjunct retrograde. So, I mean, Venus conjunct Lilith during a retrograde. So the energies that you've been experiencing as far as being independent or being loving or being a little bit ratchet or, you know, dang, I want to get married. Like, or I want to be single. Like, all of those energies that you thought you had made it past, they're going to come back with a vengeance when Venus go retrograde. So be sure you clear on what type of relationship you want to have. Are you honest in your relationship? Are both parties honest? Are y'all doing something worthwhile? Are y'all wasting time? It's time to ask those real serious questions in reference to your relationship. If you're in a relationship or even if you don't want a relationship, what's the status? You know, because this Venus conjunct Lilith energy did not come to play.
You know what?
Action time.
It's almost as if Mars, you know, in 2020 when Mars was in Aries for 6 weeks, for 6 months, and then 6 months, it's almost like a spin-off to that. But this time it's real serious. You know, like, are you really in love? We're like going back to the love music and the love thing. But you want to be very mindful that you don't get caught up in the retrograde phase of it and wait till it goes direct. So the best thing you can do is to listen, be an open ear, be my friend. Don't move so fast. Like you know how Shah, his name Shah, said, if I ever fall in love again, yeah, you want to be kind of sure. And let your heart lead you. Let your heart guide you. And be honest. Be honest. Be real about it. Get your feelings out. Get it off your chest. Express yourself.
That's that truth.
Sure. Get it off your chest. Say it with your chest. All of that type of energy.
That's what Cancer rules.
Is in your chest.
Yeah, Cancer rules the breast. Cancer rules the breast, and that's where you get your ultimate rest is on that breast. Ask any baby. Yeah. And 7 is the number of rest.
So this is a
Go
good
ahead,
time
baby.
to do breathing. This is a good time to do breathing exercise.
Absolutely. The same thing I was saying about the same thing I was saying about the sister that called in. That's for all of us. You know, I literally was talking to myself out loud. Is that you gotta slow down because information comes in super fast. You know, we on super speed time. You gotta slow everything down. Remember Neo? Everything slow down.
Right. Slow motion.
Yeah. Oh man, this was a great bill. Go ahead.
Not only that, breathing exercise, you know, we are in the 7th year, and the element rule to that is water. And, you know, something exercise that I do is when you were in the tub, even when you're in the shower, learn how to breathe or hold your breath. But you know what? Do it in calmness. Do it in stillness. And you will really understand how your body will respond to that, and you won't be hyperventilating or think you can't hold your breath. It's really all in the mind. So the mind acts off, or your body kind of responds to what you're thinking. So it's best to just stay calm and really learn, like you learn how to swim. But learn how to swim in your own home if you can't go to a swimming pool, if you don't want to go to a swimming pool. But, you know, learning how to hold your breath is going to be very important, like we were in the womb before, because all these floods happen, they happen for a reason. At one point, you got to learn how to hold your breath for a deep period of time.
All right. Well, we're getting down to our time, and I'm going to leave out of here with some frequencies and some vibrations, music. And I want to thank Hood Mystic, Kyra, Eric. I thank y'all for being at the round table. I thank the listeners for listening. And we will do this some more, and appreciate y'all, and better love, and thanks, listeners. And I'll be back tomorrow with Tutmos. So thanks, everyone.